All right, Shalom Aleichem. I said we're going to split up Siman Kuf Yud Ches into groups. So yesterday we did the Yesodus of when you need Chosem Echad and when you need Shtei Chesamas. You learned that long Shach, yeah? All the different Rashi, Meiri, all different opinions. Today I want to go to the second section. I want to do when do you need a Chosem? When do you know that? Is there any time that possibly you do not need a chosem? So let's start with a shaila. The shaila is brought in Shailas Teshuvos Vayomer Yitzchak. Darkei Tshuva brings it. It's one of the most fascinating svarim. Today's days we have Eitzar HaChachma, which I don't know how to use. Rabbi Shachat all of a sudden used to nudge me. He says, "Why don't you get Eitzar HaChachma?" He was in his 90s and he used the computer like, I can't get used to Eitzar HaChachma. I can't. So, but if you think about it, I have over there a set of Darkei Tshuva. Darkei Tshuva, this is Darkei Tshuva. So this is the Mechaber Ramah. And this Darkei Tshuva, what he basically does is like a computer. He collects all the Shailas of Tshuvas, and Darkei Tshuva is the Minchas Elazar's father, or Zayda. How did they did it? I have no idea. How any random shaila discussed in Shailas of Tshuvas about that time, I mean, he obviously won't have shailas that are current situations. I don't know how they did it back then, but he must have a tremendous library, he must have a tremendous Yediyah Sotera. So anyways, he brings a shaila here from Vayomer Yitzchak, and I want to discuss the shaila. The shaila is, okay, you told me every kosher of food, chavis champag, needs either a chosem or shtei chesamas. What happens if somebody did not do that, and the food came to the other end? So there's going to be two steps to the shaila. Step number one is, could I eat it? Step number two, if it was raw or whatever, what happens if I didn't eat it yet, but I cooked it or I warmed it up? Is it usher? So now my kalim are usher? Or what's this gather of chosem or shtei chesamas? Does it aser kalim or not? Doesn't aser kalim, because it's all a chumrah. We don't know that it's real iser. The emes is cholavakum. The Ramah says you need a kasha the kalim, and it's also only a chumrah. Why is cholavakum a chumrah? Because shema ira bari cholav tamei. But the Ramah clearly says that you have to kasha the kalim for cholavakum. And it comes to bishul vakum and pasakum. Over there are Mechaber brings different opinions. Maybe you could. It's the Rabbanon, whatever it is. So the shaila, what he brings is like this. Listen to the shaila because I want to nitpick on part of the shaila. The shaila is, a lot of meat is shechted overseas, and then it travels by boat. So what happens if, let's say today they shecht in Uruguay, and they forgot to make the chesamas, and they sent it over to Israel or to America on the boat. So the question is, okay, it doesn't have the chesamas, so you won't be able to eat the meat. But all the kalim that the meat sat in during the whole traveling process, do the kalim become aser? Now, let me explain the shaila. The shaila is missing a little salz and pfeffer. If you open a refrigerator, and the refrigerator has shtiklach pork, there's shtiklach chazer there, you don't have to kash the refrigerator. There's only, it's actually this week's parsha, kol asher yavei ba'esh, taviru ba'esh. Only bishul creates the nicing time of the isser into the keli. Cold things don't extract taste, don't take in taste, so you could just give a vish up and it's not a problem. So why would it even be a discussion that the buckets that the meat is sitting in, or the hooks the meat is sitting in, is because it might be a shaila. So turn it up a notch. The shaila is because there's a halacha which is called kavush, and kavush kamavushel. Now, if you don't know the halachas of kavush, you're going to make a mistake. Kavush doesn't mean if an item is sitting in a keli, the item is kavush into the keli. There has to be specific situations where it becomes kvisha. Kvisha means to pickle. Kvisha means to marinate. Kvisha means a combination of a solid and a liquid, or just liquid. the classical for all those who Shimon Achman listened to the first one, he's going to listen to the second one. And Tzabach, all these guys who are mashgichim, the classical debate is when you make kosher oil or kosher milk, how is the milk getting to you? It's going in a tanker. So that same tanker yesterday was delivering some chazarai, some non-kosher oil. Or yesterday is delivering non-kosher milk. Do you have to kasher the tankers that you see in the highway? Why? Because the liquid that's there is being kovush. Liquid is kovush, and Chachamim say that in anything which is not charif, kovush can be vushal in 24 hours. So if the milk or the oil or whatever it is wasn't and I think it's called a halo or hollow, where they store it, either where they store it. Those aren't even in the refrigerator. But if it's stored steady for 24 hours, kovush is kamavushal. That's if it's plain liquid. If it's not just plain liquid, if you're talking about solid foods, if solid foods are sitting in liquid, it's also kovush. So now you have a shayla about the meat. It cannot be that the shayla was because they had boxes of meat, and now he's asking, could I? Does the meat, because it didn't have a chesim, did it trade for the keli? There's no kovush that way. The only way the even enter a shayla is maybe the way you can't. I'm guessing you can't transport just meat in boxes, and back then when the refrigeration wasn't so great, they must have had it sitting in water or possibly ice. Ice might be a shayla if it's kovush because it's solid, but there is liquid. If there is no liquid, it's not a shayla. It's like the refrigerator. You don't have to do anything.
Blood.
The
liquid that's in the package.
That's not kovush. It's not kovush. Incidentally, I'll tell you a very interesting shayla. Why are you allowed to eat fish? You look like the type of guy you like a salmon, right? Salmon? Sure. Okay, you like salmon. So if you like salmon, why are you allowed to eat salmon? Because you're going to say it has the kosher simanim. But the salmon is swimming in the same ocean as the lobster. It's swimming in the same ocean as the dolphins. And they're kovush together. Kovush kamavushal. The kovush doesn't have to be in a small pot. Kovush means if they're marinating together or just soaking together, it's kovush. And the only reason the halacha says that a kovush doesn't apply there is because you don't say kovush in a lebed gezach. The fish that are swimming in the ocean are alive, even though there is a mixture of kosher food, kosher fish, and non-kosher. There's no kovush in lebedik. Once they're dead, now all the shilas happen. So I'll give you a practical shilah. When they go and they extract the tuna from the ocean, now those boats don't come back every 15 minutes like a chassidish. Those boats could go out there for some long time. So when they're catching the kosher fish, where are they doing it? There's a storage thing in the boat. They have big things, whatever, and they don't store it as is. They store it with brine or they store it with liquid water. If in there, as they're storing it, the tuna and the salmons, there's other fishes that are fishes sounds like an alternative. Other fish that are marinating in the same time for a couple of days. You got a problem. Because over there the fish are dead, and over there they might be kovush. And if they're using some chemical to make it charif, it doesn't take 24 hours. According to some shit, it becomes kamavushal like in 6 minutes, just like cooking. Anyways, so back to this original shayla. The shayla, I'm just building up. Yesterday you learned that there's a problem. You must have chesamis. How severe is the problem? The problem now we're discussing: if you didn't have a chesamis and you cooked that piece of meat, does it aser the kalim? Is it a real isser or is it a chash isser? And he brought that shayla. I'm bringing that shayla that he didn't know if the boats. So let me just talk about one more thing about the kovush. One of the reasons I have a problem with the shayla, because one of the reasons you could be makel on tankers and all these things, because kovush kimavushal is only if it takes the shear of the time, either mayim for 24 hours or charif, let's say 10 minutes. I'm just using that shear. If it's settled for that amount of time, then you have a problem of kovush kimavushal. If, however, it could be in the same tank, but it's suruktzich, that's not kovush kimavushal. So if it's in the boat, it has to be in water, it has to be 24 hours still. And then you could say, oh, let's discuss kavish k'mevushal. It wouldn't be a shaila discussing it while the boat is traveling, because that's what the place can paskin. So anyways, so let's go back to this thing. I want to show you the different opinions. So the first opinion says, Nira loymar, if the meat is not kosher, sha'abasar asur, kiva shenichba sha'abasar ba'kli me'es le'es, gama keli asura. In those kalim that facilitated and held the meat, the taste of, in halachic terms, it's called the noising. It was noising tam. The tam shel isser went into the keli. Now you have to kasher the keli. V'leigara, it's no different than if it was cooked there, because we hold kavish k'mevushal. Yeah. Avolidina, however, he says lepoyo ze'enoi. I know it makes sense. I know that we should use the rule of kavish k'mevushal. Avolidina ze'enoi. Einoi da hakelim mutorim. Da filu im nisbashal b'sorim. Afilu nisbashal b'sorim. B'keli. Even this meat that was nechbash, that was kavush, me'es le'es in the keli. I would say yesh lahatir hakeli la'achar shashor me'es le'es. He doesn't explain why. He just says, I'm guessing his heter is that this is a isser based on the chumrah. This is a isser based on the suffix. So therefore, I don't know how far I want to go with this. If this meat that came out, taka was troubled, and somebody cooked it, I don't think you have to kasher it. That's to show you how strict this goes. Okay. So go to Seif. Let's go to Seif. Let's start with Seif Hey. Im sholach al yedei oivi gechavim yerech beloy chosim. Now you guys are in the new millennium. You don't know. Not too long ago, 30 years ago, what you go to the butcher, you go to the sheichet, and you would buy a zaitel. You'd buy a zaitel. You wouldn't buy a pound of meat, 6 pounds. You bought a whole. You took a couple families together, and they went to the sheichet. Each guy took a big chunk. A zaitel is a whole side of an animal. So what? Which incidentally, we have shachtim here. What happens if you have a couple of chickens? Based on what you're learning now, I'm going to get dirty. I want to send a couple of chickens to Rabbi Shmukel to shechted. Could I ask my cleaning lady, take the 3 chickens, go to Rabbi Shmukel, and he'll shecht it. And she comes back 2 hours later. Here's the 3 geshachten to chicken. Would you be able to eat the chicken? She goes with 3 live chickens. What's the shaila then? The shaila is, did Rabbi Shmukel take a shechter chicken? Right? That's the only shaila. Did she just stab it or shecht it or poke it or even make shecht it, which is not kosher? Or did she actually do what I asked her to do? That's not a question, Rabbi Shechner. The question is, do I trust her that she went to Rabbi Shmukel and got a shecht? She brought back 3 dead chickens. It looks like it's geschachten. I mean, we don't understand this question because we don't do that. But put yourself in the Chabad houses in India or whatever, all these places. They send the chicken here, send the chicken there, based on this chaysim mishtei chaysamis. Okay, so let's see over here. So a couple of families got together, and they got the sheichet to shecht a behema. Now we're splitting it up. The Goldstein family is getting this zaitel, so they sent a yerech, a side of an animal, b'lai chaysim. They didn't do any chasima, and maybe they weren't careful. They didn't know. And the guy brought it to Goldstein's. Is it a no? No, we have other solutions. If the cut by the goyim, they eat much more than what we eat in the animal. If the yid gets the piece of meat and he sees it's cut around exactly what we take out, it's a yiddish cut. Even that's good enough. So now we just backing off. You don't need a chaysem. You don't need a shnei chaysem. Sometimes this is good enough. V'chein kol chaticha shenikar bo nikar Yisrael, any smaller piece of meat, but you see that the veins that they take out for chalev, the Goyim don't take it out. It's obviously it's a Yiddish piece of meat. Kagoyim b'netilas chutida v'chut she'etzel achazer. These are two parts that the Yidden take out for chalev. That would be good enough. You don't need chaysam v'sheichasamis. Now the question is, it wasn't only one piece of meat. It was 4 or 5 pieces of meat that came along in the box. One of them, you see that the chalev was cut out. The other one didn't have. It's not that part that you take out chalev. Could I? Is it matter everything or matter only the one I have a hecker on? Says the Ramah. The other pieces of meat in the box. You're right. If you have some concern that maybe she swapped it, he swapped it, asuris. Only the one that I have a hecker, only that one I have some kind of siman I could keep. Dr. Ramah, V'davka, V'davka b'basar, Oishar isu deraisa. Aval shalach isu derabanan. So then, by isu derabanan, once I have a hecker on one, the whole box becomes mutter. Pretty easy. Yesterday we were threatening. We all have to go on diets. We can't eat anything. And today we're making things much easier. All right. One thing. Let's go back. Let's go back. Siv Gimel. Zoktal Rebbe. Zoktal Mechaber. Ois echad chashuv kechoisem achas. What happens today? What happens practically? What happens today? You make a sticker. You make a sticker, and they have a kosher sticker. So what's the kosher sticker help? For the guy to cut the sticker and take it out and put it back, he can't just go to Home Depot and get another duct tape. So it's he's cutting the duct tape. That's scary enough for him. And B, where is he going to get the kosher tape? Where is he getting the kosher tape? So that's a very big issue for all those who are mashgichim, because I think the policy is that if you go for hashgacha and you have these tapes that you have to mark the kosher things, you come with it and you leave with it. But there are some places that the mashgichim change and this, so they have a shelf and they leave the kosher tape there. Now remember, if you leave the kosher tape there, what's stopping Billy from taking one of these kosher tapes and just marking a regular box, intentionally or unintentionally? So that's a big thing that the kosher tape has to be locked up, because everything about it is relying on the kosher tape.
Is the sticker considered ice?
What a sticker or a sticker that? A sticker. What does it say in the sticker?
It says CRC Sapmer Flash.
Why, so what's the why? Yeah, why not?
Because it's hard for the guy can't switch it. It can't get a new one.
Okay, so why should it not be ice?
That's what.
Yeah, the question is it considered one ice or 2 ices? Because for meat you need 2 ices, right? So listen to this. Ice achas, 1 letter, is considered chashuv k'choisem b'achad. Now this, before you go further, what's the big yippee yay of a letter? Especially if you go to the end of the sif, go to the v'yesh aimrim, shebemokim shemitzuyim mumrim v'kutim. If you're living in a place where there are either Rahman al-Islam mumrim yidden who went off, there's a Rosh Tevis for that off the derech. OD, what do they call it over here? OTD. OTD. If a yid went off Rahman al-Islam, or a kutim sheyoidim lichtov, I'm sorry, ain't ksav siman. A letter is a aleph, a beis means something. It's a very big issue today, because today with a computer, any guy could go and give a Hebrew alphabet and pop out whatever he wants. back then we didn't have computers, but back then he said that if there's a guy that knows how to write a Hebrew letter, a ksav is not a siman. They say the story by us in Lubavitch. You say the story that the Bachram went America shlichus to South Africa, and they were looking for Yidden, some Hickdown community. And today's days, you have other methods how to find the Yidden. Back then, you would look in the yellow pages. They went to the cemetery. They want to look for cemetery, look for Yiddish names. So they came to the cemetery and they see one matzeva has two Hebrew words, kosher Pesach. So they did a little research, and they said, "What is this?" They found that he's Jewish. He's Jewish, and before he was passing away, he wanted his family to remember him as a Jew. All he had was a box of Streitz matzah or one of these gefilte fishes, and it was Hebrew letters. He told him, "Do me a favor, put this on the matzeva." On his matzeva stayed kosher Pesach. Yeah. So, ois achas Hebrew. I'll start. The beginning is ois is a heker. At the end, we know that ois is nicht a greise heker. Ois achas choshev k'choisem echad. So the Achrayim have a discussion. Is it a full ois? Because we have some letters in our alphabet that have two parts to it. A hey has two shteklach. A kuf has two shteklach. There's a ois. Would that consist as two ois? Yes or not? So from what it's mashma, no. Ois means the full letter. Ois achas choshev k'choisem echad. Shtayim, two letters. What's the logic? The logic is, by the way, the ois can't be a sticker right on top. If you peel it off, and then the ois has to be that in a way that the only way he could get into the box is if he's breaking that ois. So now it's very risky for him because he has to find a way how to replace that ois. But if it's not in a way that it's breaking, it's so if you have ois here that if you open the box or the bag, it's ripping, and an ice here that it's ripping, then it's going to take him twice as long as effort to have an issue. Then it will push him away.
But that's only on one side.
It doesn't care which side. If he has to break two of them, and he has to replace. However, if the letters are, even though there are many letters together, but they're in one form, on one sticker, this would be on one, this is a chiddush, because even though they're on one sticker, there's a logo with many letters, so l'chayr, this should be considered shtei chesamis. No, we don't go with per letter, we go per inyan, per thing. There can be per every chesem. Afal pi sheyesh b'am kama oisiyos, lo chashivi ela kechesem echad, kivan shekoivim oisim b'vas achas. Okay, so now, there's actually a halacha in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, and the Alter Rebbe makes it very, very simple, but the Magen Avram and the Mishnah Berurah have a lot more about this. If you look in Hilchos Tefillin, Siman Lamed Beis, the Alter Rebbe says like this: we know that everything about the Tefillin has to be done lishma. They have to make the Tefillin from beginning to end lishma. All right, so they started the Tefillin making in the bottom house, whatever lishma, and then they're going from place to place. Right, from one organization that does this part to the next trade that does this. Who's transporting it? You think the Bells of Dayan is transporting it? A guy. So the Alter Rebbe says like this: Siman Lamed Beis Sif Yud Gimel. Oyros shenoisnim lenachri laabdam lishmam. Any oir, any hide that you're giving it to a guy to be done lishmam. However, that is not negay now. Umesame noisam, but you're marking it. You're making a simim on the hide, binekavim with different holes. Sha'oisim behem b'martseya. There's a special tool that it makes holes into the skin, into the leather. Ke'ein oisios. So you make like a stamp or something, but it's not a stamp. It's actually right. So there's letters. Why do you do that? To make sure that the goy, what you're getting back, is the same that we took care of it. You're getting the kosher Says the Alter Rebbe, Even though it's very, very easy to duplicate this, and the Alter Rebbe is teaching us a trick. What's the trick? He'll take another piece of skin, another piece of leather, and put right over it. You know what we do? Trace it. And he'll make even though it's very easy for the guy to forge. And then he'll puncture it through. Voila! He got himself a second kosher. He could fool us all. And he'll do it derech and the kavim sha'asi Yisrael. Zok the Alter Rebbe, this is Magen Avram. Ein choshishim lekach. I'm not worried about it. Good enough. Why? Because the guy is afraid to do that. Pen yakir ha-Yisrael b'tvias ayin shenosam b'simanim. Maybe the Yid will recognize it's not exactly what I did. Or the Yid will see, I made the holes Tuesday. This looks like you can see the sawdust is still there, whatever. It's too fresh. So therefore, I'm not worried. And everybody has, the Alter Rebbe is not Meirach on this, but everybody has a field day. Suddenly, the question is if you ice and the nekev is the same thing, you look over there in the Magen Avram. All right, Sif Dalid. Let me see. Let me see what else is important to say here. Ooh, what were those learning? What's Sif? Yeah. So he says a chaysim. So they bring from the Pritaya. Pritaya is Dar Chaim. They bring from that a sticky tape. A tape is the same thing. It's like one chaysim. So even though it says a lot of words, a lot of logos, the tape is not. I think someone is say, cutting a tape that has a logo on it is a shtei chazamis. A, you cut tape, and B, you cut the logo. With that's not what they do. If you go to a restaurant or the restaurant you call DoorDash, or those who know what they're doing, you'll see even at Crown Heights, the restaurants, they seal it. I think they staple it, and then they put tape over it. And I think they're also machmir to put the receipt on it. And part of the reason is not only that you know what you paid for, is that also to make it more difficult. I think that some people want them to do that.
They staple the receipt.
They do, yeah. They staple it on the outside.
Now, I always thought they stapled the receipt so you should know what you paid for. Anyway, I think some hachsherim want that as another precaution. You know what I mean? If the guy rips it off, you're going to ask, where's the receipt?
Putting tape twice, is that shtei chazamis? Anything twice, like just
2 letters would be 2 chazamis.
It's not the guy to make the same. If he's gonna make a new sticker.
Think about it. What he's saying, if he's going to open your bag and he has to get tape again, what's the difference to him to roll it once or roll it twice? By the chaysim, you would say it's much more difficult. It's a big difficulty to make it. But I can't see rolling two times being 2 shtei chazamis. All right, one more thing. Sif Dalid. I know I'm missing a lot of things here. And take,
Indian shalom. Can't be missing.
No. Kosher. You write kosher. How many? What would that be? The dry letter of the law would be shtei chazamis. If you put the kosher right over here, a stamp. It's not chaysam. It's not an fusachad. That should be. But the problem is, which guy doesn't know kosher? Doesn't know, I think there was a very big controversy a couple of years ago. There's a chain, I think in California you also have it. There's a chain gas station, like there's a 7-Eleven, there's Circle K. Yeah, in California?
I think so.
And they were in court. Circle K. OK took them to court. Because imagine you're driving on the highway and you're thirsty, you're hungry, and you see Circle K. You think, hey, it must be under the Hashem OK. So, yeah. All right. One more sif dalid. I saw about kosher that they don't allow it because every guy knows how to write kosher today. Every guy, I mean, they know what it means, and I think there's a gas station in New Jersey. You drive by a lot. There's a big gas station. It says gas 269 kosher. You know what I mean?
This ice is only when it's when it's like I said before. It's only when you have to rip. Right?
Only when it takes effort for him to take out the item. If there's a sticker and it's no big deal, he could have opened up. Chacham. If this is the box, and there's a sticker here, what's stopping the guy from taking it out? The sticker's nachal stah.
But if the sticker is on a plastic ceramic.
Oh, so one of my favorite titles. I don't know if you know. I enjoy a little food once in a while. Yeah. It doesn't look like it, right? So a piece of cheesecake never killed anybody, right? So there's a Hasidic company that makes cheesecake, and they sell it in the freezers and fridges all over. Greens. I'm not endorsing greens. I'm doing greens cheesecake. You'll have it in every. No. But you'll have it in every store. Yeah. So in Minnesota, it was a luxury to get a green cheesecake. So I would buy it. And I always thought it was a Hasidic malava malka, until I realized it's a hechsher. When your green cheesecake is it's like in a small silver foil pan. It's plasticked, and a sticker. Okay, so where's the chaysim? You have to rip it apart, whatever. You have to rip. But every time, I think it's still today. Every time I open the green cheesecake, I always found suddenly it's like a yuklish. There's two covers. You realize that? You realize that too? I always thought maybe the machine is broken. Maybe I think they do it. You know that? You know that? I think they do that.
I was one to keep it clean.
That's not. I think some ultra orthodox guy decided that. I thought it was a fluke. Maybe one time I bought it. I didn't only buy a cheesecake one time, I think somebody wanted it. Okay. So what kind of chaysim is that? Think about that. It's like I don't know if it's a good chaysim, because what happens if in every one of my cheesecakes I put in a note? So and the guy doesn't know there's a note there. Is that a good enough chaysim? If you have you know what I'm saying? Just the fact that he has a second cover there, and the guy is that a chaysim? I don't know if it scares him. I don't know. All right.
It's the same way he was able to get one and get two.
That's not the point. He doesn't even know that. It looks like it's not something that's scaring him off. It's not like the sign outside where under surveillance. Nobody's getting scared off. All right. One last thing. Sif Dalid. Mafteach. This is special for Bachrim. There is no door that a Bacher can't get into. You could have a bulletproof multi-lock and dislock. They'll get in, right? So a bazoi, what's the gather of a mafteach? You have it under lock and key. Is a key considered a chaysim? It's locked. You think it's good?
Just get in your house.
No. You sent something, and you locked it. So what does the guy have to do? The guy has to pick the lock, take it out, and close it up. Is that so difficult? So it's a very interesting halacha. It depends. If it's an item that you need shtei chaysamis, it could be the second chaysam. If it's an item that needs one chaysam, a mafteach is garnish vert. A mafteach as a second chaysam will accept it, even for something a little backwards, because the inyanim that needs shtei chaysamis it's a chashis a deraisa. So we should want it to be bulletproof. No, at least you have one serious one. For a second one, it will accept it. But something that needs chaysam echad, a mafteach is garnish because everybody could pick locks. I think he brings out something. Hold on. He says, I think I remember him saying somewhere that if This is the words he says. V'oisa mafteches hamitzuyim atzleinu she'i efshel lepoischam elezayfam ele b'toilach gadol v'af gam ze tzorich laze umnus. I don't think Shimon Achman, I don't think even you could pick it. That's better than the mafteach. The Shulchan Aruch is talking about the old-fashioned mafteach. Anybody could copy it. But if you have a multi-lock, then he says it's different. Who did he bring this from? Kuf Ches? He says the Kaf HaChaim says this. The Kaf HaChaim says this. Okay, let's just learn this inside and I'll let you go. Mafteach. What time is it? After you buy. Mafteach v'choisem havi beis choisamis. Avo b'dvorim shedai b'choisem echad im loy hoye boy el mafteach loy chashiv choisem. You know, this shaila is based on this Ramah also. Take the flour for matzahs. Where do they make the flour? You know where they make the flour? What do you think?
In Utah.
Very good.
Is
Yeah, a lot of it's in Utah. Why? Because it's a Utah. Why'd you just guess Utah out of there?
We were just there, it was on the head.
Oh, thank God you were Utah. I was afraid if you would be somebody else. It's actually, a lot of it's from Utah. I think some of it's in California. It's a hot climate. So over there's mashgiach. That's a very difficult mashgichim job. You're a loner in a farm, somewhere. You have to make sure it's the regnant. It's crazy. The wheat season.
That's why matzah so expensive?
No, I don't know why matzah. I know I spoke to a guy who owns a matzah bakery, and he told me, everybody says I'm rich. It's true. I'm rolling in dough. So how does the flour from Utah get to Brooklyn? They're shipping it. I'm not asking you, the Rebbe Rashab's Rebbetzin or the Rebbe Marash. Hey, Cohen, I also know Lubavitch stories, okay? You don't. I don't know. One of the Rebbetzins didn't want the matzahs to be delivered on the same road where the water was delivered. You knew that? I think even Eitz Minhag Chabad brings it. Didn't want the delivery. It is a whole din of Shulchan Aruch. How do you store the wheat? And the wheat's not made yesterday. The wheat's made months. And what's if Chas v'Sholom? It's in a place where there's a mouse. It's a big issue. Okay, so forget about that. But how are you? The wheat, ushmartem asamatzis, it's ksira lishma. How do you know that it got to you with the right that halakha matzis that you pay, the halakha wheat flour that you're paying so much money for, and it's ksira lishma? So it has to be. You have to have chaysamis. So it has to be in sacks, and the sacks have to be in such a way that it's very difficult. I'm just saying that you think these halachas are almost everything that you're dealing with has somehow gets back to this halacha, because there's a lack of trust. You have to create trust in what you see, that it is what you have. Okay, today was much longer than